Welcome to spainISH. We're two expats, one from Norway, one from the US, sharing our experiences of living in Spain. Whether you're thinking about moving here, already living abroad, or just curious about Spanish culture, we've got insights, stories, and tips for you. Subscribe, share, comment, like this if you love your mom.
To all the mama lovers out there, thank you for being here. We applaud you. Never ever leave us, please.
Yes. How's it going, Tony?
It's going very well. I have the blinds shut right now because it's hot outside and I want consistency with lighting here. So the light that you're seeing here is my studio light. Blinds are down. It's like 90% down. And then there's like a 10% that's casting some light on my dog in her dog bed.
Give some light for her. Yeah. I have some natural light and I'm baking. I have the air conditioning like blasting so that I'm not sweating.
Wait, you're baking? So it's like you have heat from the baking, and then you have heat from the natural heat.
No, baking
outside.
like from the sun.
Oh, you're baking. Okay, so you're not like
Yes.
setting a dough
No.
or like baking bread.
No, I'm metaphorically baking in this sun. It is so hot.
Well, is it metaphorically? If you are boiling, maybe you are baking. I don't know, like the Webster dictionary's definition of baking, but maybe you are. It's not metaphorically.
I feel like I'm in an oven.
I've heard people describe Madrid as an oven in summer, so I have no doubts. For context, people listening in the future, we're recording on the 16th of June, or June 16th, as you say in the US. And the heat has arrived, not only in Madrid, but here in Alicante as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a guess how hot it is today?
In Alicante?
Yeah.
Let's say 30.
30 degrees Celsius. Let's see. El tiempo.es says it is 29. Well done.
Oof.
I'm impressed. And it's like partially an overcast right now. Like it's hard to say what's an overcast and what's humidity or like a fog almost, if that makes sense. Dude, what's the word? Like in Norwegian, we would say DC, which means it's like, it's not cloudy,
Overcast. Yeah.
but kind of, yeah, but not like a gray overcast, like it's going to rain in 2 minutes. It's more like water got vaporized and it's like hanging up there. That's my non-scientific definition of why the sky isn't always blue.
Like hazy, right?
Hazy. That's the word I'm
Hazy?
looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it hazy in Madrid as well?
No. Full-blown sun. Actually, yeah, a little bit. But it's 35 here.
I think it's always hazy if you go above a certain degree.
Like no blue, you mean?
Yeah, or it will be like really like light blue because it's so hazy. Like if you come here and there's a heat wave, you won't get like a stark blue sky. It will be like, well, I guess it's kind of blue because the sun is so hot, but actually take a hard look at the sky and compare it to the sea. It's like, no, it's not really blue. It's like hazy. Like whatever you see in photos or on film of like the classical Mediterranean sea, blue sky weather, it's not really like that when it goes above 35.
I'm too busy sweating. I don't ever look at what hue of blue the sky is.
I do. I take so many photos and videos of the sky here.
Sure.
And doing color correction afterwards. It's like, I can't bring out the blue in the sky. Come on.
Yeah.
It needs to be better. I used to do marketing for a real estate company called Comersol. I love those guys. Shout out to Dee. And there were so many photos and videos that were taken on days where the weather on paper is sun and blue sky, but when you're there, it's like kind of hazy. So you need to like really do your best in post-production to not lie, obviously, but try and bring out that blue in the sky. Because if you compare it to the sea, it looks washed out. With that said, the experience there, as you said, you're not worried about the hue or the saturation in the sky. It's like the sun is there and it's baking me right now. So I don't care about like how blue or
I just want to get back inside as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Okay, on that note, what's the temperature in Madrid?
It's 35.
So I didn't get a chance to guess. You're like,
oh
it's
my
35.
God.
You're the worst podcast partner. Come on.
You didn't say you wanted to guess.
You're supposed to tease me. You're like,
Oh.
you need to guess. And I'm like, okay, I think it's 35.
Do you want to take a guess?
I think it's 35.
Okay, what about in Sevilla? Let's guess Sevilla.
Ooh, Sevilla. I'm going to say 38 in Sevilla right now.
38. Is that what you said?
I said
38?
It's on tape. We have it. I said 38.
You guessed
right.
correct.
I did.
Well,
indeed, I did.
Ugh. And the maximum is 41 today. It still hasn't peaked.
Around 1 week ago, I realized that the transition to the heat right now made me feel a tad unwell.
A tad? I'm like dizzy. I want to vomit.
Dude, there were 2 or 3 days where I thought I was getting sick. Like I wasn't sleeping very well. I had a headache when I got up in the morning, and I was like, is it too much coffee? Is it not enough coffee? Did I get the flu? And then I think it was just the heat, just transitioning into it. And it's not that hot. As I just said, today it's 29. And yeah, there's been a few days where I think it's been 32 or something. But I don't know. It's like this weird transition. And I usually adapt fairly quickly. But you have been here 1.5 years, and you just said now that you didn't feel well with the transition. How was it the first time around in Madrid for you?
I mean, emotionally, I was going through a lot of like culture shocks and stuff, but I thought that I was depressed because I had no energy. I like to work out every day, and I was like not wanting to go to the gym, and I'm like, am I like homesick? Am I like, what is happening? And it was for a week. I don't remember it stopping. I was just always exhausted. And then my boyfriend was like, it's probably the heat. Like
such a simple solution. It's just the heat. Nothing more complicated than that.
But I didn't know it could do that to you. I mean, obviously if you're not sleeping well at night because of the heat, that will affect you for the whole day. But
do you sleep with the aircon on?
No. With a Spaniard? No. They think it's bad juju. They think you'll get sick.
To be fair, I have gotten an ear infection several times due to, to be fair, the combo of aircon and like swimming, but still.
Okay, that's important. The swimming piece is important.
It is, but still, when I've been conscious to not like go diving with my head and fill up my eardrum with water, I can still feel like, the aircon, one should be careful.
Okay, well, maybe it's not a complete myth, but
it makes me want to turn off the aircon right now. Now I turn it off.
You don't
I set it to 23 degrees here.
I think I'm 22. It feels really nice. The heat in Spain is no joke. I don't remember it being this hot last year in Madrid. I didn't spend much time here over the summer, but it's a struggle.
I don't remember last year other than that it was hot. I guess it's like every year. 360 days go by, and then you forget some, and then it's like, well, it's summer, but was it this hot last year? And this is so true. I thought when I lived in Norway that we talked a lot about the weather because it's a harsh, cold climate. But I have discovered that everyone always talks about the weather, no matter where you live in the world.
And complains about it, right?
Yeah, you do. If it's stable, you bitch about that. If it's cold, you're, what do you say, like chopping teeth and like, oh, it's so cold. And then if it's hot, well, guess what? Global warming. Like it's always something about the weather.
Something that I thought only older people talked about, but apparently.
Are we getting old, Molly?
Is
that what you're saying? I think we spent the last 10 minutes talking about the weather here.
It's fun to talk about. I mean, we could talk about it a whole episode, but we don't have to. We have a lot of things that we wanted to bring up, so.
I have a feeling that the weather will be a reoccurring theme the coming episodes.
I'll try not to complain because I think it could be worse. I prefer the heat over snow and being very, very cold, so.
Same.
let's transition. What are we talking about today?
We're doing an update episode. We're gonna talk about what we have been doing lately. When we were chit-chatting about today's theme, we realized we have done stuff and we want to talk about it. So no overarching theme other than that we're expats, we have a life here in Spain, and we do stuff.
Like a typical June in Spain.
A typical June in Spain, all said.
Weekend getaways and hot weather. Or not in some cases.
Before we dive into it, do you want to do the wow word of the week?
Yes. I actually have two. I have two that I want to share one because I think it's funny. And then I have a real one.
Okay.
My boyfriend and I went to a theater show a few weeks ago. And we were talking after the show about, I don't know, we were just talking about the show. And we were talking about theater and kind of, it's funny to compare like US theater versus Spanish theater. And do you know the expression for when someone is about to go on stage? Something you would say to the actor that's about to go on stage in English?
In English, you would say break a leg.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So in Spanish, my boyfriend told me that instead of, break a leg makes no sense.
It does actually, but okay. Keep going.
Okay. Say, what does it mean?
Well, break a leg, it means the theory I have been presented, the audience gets so riled up that when they're sitting on their chair, they just start rocking it back and forward. And then they're so excited they end up breaking a leg on the chair.
On the chair. Oh.
I don't know if it's true or not, but it kind of makes sense. Like, you don't want to break a leg on the actor.
Like from laughing.
Yeah, they're like, oh, and then...
Oh, that makes more sense. If you Google it, there's a lot of different explanations, but that I don't think was one of them.
I feel bad for cutting you off, so please keep going.
No. Okay, so in Spain, apparently there is an expression that is mucha mierda, which, so they used it because back in the day, people would ride horses to the shows. And so if you had a lot of horses there, that meant that there was a lot of people coming to see your shows. So if there was a lot of mierda, then that meant that you had a good turnout, basically.
For anyone listening, what does mierda mean?
Poop.
That's a polite way to say it.
This is a PG show, okay? I'm trying not to curse.
Fine.
And I just I thought it was funny. I thought it was a funny difference because he's like, what does break a leg mean? This makes much more sense. And I'm like, you're right, it does.
Mucha mierda. I would say they're like equal. If we're gonna keep in mind the legs on the chair breaking, it's like a result of a lot of people, both of them.
Just a very large person in a chair.
Or just a really big horse. A large person with a large horse.
Breaking legs and lots of poo. Yeah. So, okay, that was I found that very entertaining and I wanted to share it. But what is your Spanish wow?
My Spanish wow is, I'm going to look at my cheat note. No, I'm going to say without looking at my cheat note. And then I'm going to jump in to make sure that I explain it correctly. My wow is hasta los huevos.
Hasta los huevos.
Hasta los huevos. Have you heard it before?
I think so. It just means like you're fed up, right?
Yes.
Sorry to explain And do you use this though?
I haven't. I've had it thrown at me a few times. We have Jorge who has been helping me and he has thrown that expression at me several times. Hasta los huevos. The expression hasta los huevos is used when you're extremely annoyed, tired, or frustrated with something. I'm up to here with this shit or poo, as you would say, given it's PG. So it's like, it's rude, it's slangy, and casual. Like, you don't say it to your boss. Or, well, depending on your boss. But yeah, like you're fed up or I'm sick of this heat, for example. Hasta los huevos.
And women can say it also.
I I guess so. I assume so. That's a hard question for me to answer. I assume they also can say, estoy hasta los huevos del calor. Like, I'm so sick of this heat. I think so. Women, if there are any Spanish native women out there listening.
Spanish speakers.
Yes, please.
Do
let
you
us
use
know.
the term huevo to
Are you allowed to say estoy hasta los huevos? Or is it just the dudes? Please let us know. Okay, back to you, because you have a real expression that you want to throw at me.
Yes, I have one. I'm sure it's very overused, but mine is meter la pata.
Feel I've heard it before. Repeat it again.
Meter la pata.
Meter la pata. To put in the paw.
Mm-hmm. You've heard it, right?
Meter la pata. Is it to get involved?
But in a bad way.
In a bad way.
So it's like to be wrong, or I've actually only ever heard it, someone use it like once in the real world, in the street. And she was saying, it was a woman at a ferreteria. I don't remember, like a tool shop. And she was like saying, no quiero meter la pata, because she was shopping for her husband. You know, she didn't want to buy the wrong thing.
Yeah.
She was an older woman also, so maybe it's something that like older people say. I don't know.
Does it mean the same as the expression meterme en un lío? To put myself in a mess?
I would say yes, I think so.
Like in that context, if I was the lady, I would say no quiero meterme en un lío. Like, I don't want to get myself in a mess.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But I think it's just a cuter way to say it, because you're like, I mean, pata is such a cute like visualization.
It is, it is. So she would then say no quiero meterme, or no quiero meter la pata.
Mm-hmm.
No
It's
quiero
not reflexive.
meter la pata. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say that again. It's not
reflexive.
Yes.
Well, I guess you could say meterme. Well, meterme would be something else. It's not an expression. That's like you're literally not going to put yourself in a situation. I guess I wonder if you would say meterme en un lío. Like if you use the word lío, I don't know if you would need to make it reflexive.
Okay.
Because meter la pata is like something else. Like it's a figurative thing.
No
know,
quiero
meterme
meter la pata, and then no quiero meterme en un
en
lío.
un lío. Yeah. But the origin of this expression was from the days of hunting, and when an animal would step into a trap and then get caught, and then you're dead. You're dead meat, literally.
Dude, that's a great way to remember the expression. It's a very visual representation.
Like Bambi.
Not following you.
You don't know who Bambi is? The
oh,
Disney
Bambi. Like, I thought you said BMV, like the car brand. I'm like,
Bambi.
What? Bambi.
Bambi. Is this thing on? Can you hear me okay?
Stop it.
That's a serious question.
Yes, I can
I don't know if
hear
this
you.
thing is working. Okay.
Bambi.
Bambi.
Yes, I heard you.
I referenced one movie and Tony's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Dude.
The king of pop culture.
I wouldn't necessarily say you know what? Yes, Bambi is part of pop culture.
Yes, the Disney culture.
I just never hear anyone reference Bambi. Like, it's been like 10 years since I heard anyone mention Bambi. Yeah.
There's a lot of bad jokes about like people's dads dying and being a Bambi or something, you know.
Really?
It's not funny, but
here we are laughing.
References. Okay, thank you for sharing. We're learning phrases that like you cannot translate in Google Translate.
For that reason, it's really nice to have friends and some websites where you can like reverse engineer expressions, and ChatGPT can put you on the right track. But I always say, like, if you use ChatGPT, look up some sources or something. Like, try to, at least. We are learning. So, okay, Molly, what have you been up to?
The last 2 weeks, so you came to visit 2 weeks ago. I'm just gonna
Hmm.
like orient myself. And that was fun. Was we had a lot of we were productive, but we also spent some time out and tried to stay cool in the heat, in the Madrid heat.
Hmm.
And then I went to Galicia in the north of Spain for a wedding, but we went for the week before the wedding just to kind of hang out. And it was really fun. I have you ever been to Santiago or have you ever been to Galicia?
No, I
No.
haven't.
It is so nice. It felt like the US.
In what
Um
way? The climate
the
or
climate, yeah, yeah,
yeah?
yeah. And the people were really nice, which I think I'm just like I think I'm just used to city life where people are not as friendly. People are a little bit more cold and
Hmm.
not as open. But I just felt like the people there were really friendly. They smiled. Um, I just liked it. It was, it was cold. I was cold. I didn't bring enough layers.
You were
Um,
cold. Were you wearing a sweater and that wasn't sufficient?
yeah, it was like 16 for the
Oh,
high
okay.
and
That is
windy.
kind of cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the sun didn't come out. Well, one day we had sun, but it was mostly cloudy.
Hmm.
So it was perfect I wouldn't be able to do it all year around, but it was really nice to get away from the summer heat. So while we were there, I went to the emergency room or the hospital because my back was hurting, whatever. I had some back pain and I couldn't move. And I dealt with it for like 4 days. But eventually I went to the hospital. The day before the wedding, I went to the hospital to see if they could help me.
Hmm.
And I'm so hesitant to go to the hospital because in the US, if you go to the hospital, you're going to pay you don't know how much you're going to pay, but it's going to be expensive. So I
Hmm.
avoid it at all costs. But I eventually went to the hospital. They gave me some medicine through an IV, or here they call it a via.
Hmm.
And I felt really good. I slept for like an hour on the way to the wedding. And then we went to the wedding. And the wedding was really fun. It was my first wedding in the north. I mean, the only weddings I've ever been to were in Sevilla. And people were like, oh, this is your first wedding in the north. And I'm like expecting something way different, but it really wasn't. It was just that they had more seafood for the appetizers that came out.
So the setup of the wedding, we call it köreplan, driving plan, like the itinerary of the day, it was more or less the same.
The exact same. Yeah.
Because we're talking a Spanish wedding, like not foreigners, but two Spaniards getting married here. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess the music was a little bit different. They had like the traditional, I guess in Galicia, the bagpipes are more common. So they
Mm-hmm.
had like a band playing bagpipes.
Oh my god, that's so cool! I never seen people playing bagpipes in real life. I
Really?
would love to be there and see that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cool. And you would never see that in a wedding in Sevilla. So
Mm.
that was different. And then they had a lot of like pulpo, like the octopus and what else? Like clams. They had a lot of clams there at the
Mm.
wedding. But yeah,
Are
it
you
was
big on clams? I'm like, I will eat it if it's served, but I don't lay awake at night thinking
no,
about it.
I don't like, yeah, no. Or octopus. It was like fresh octopus, like not fried.
I was just about to ask, how did they prepare it? It's not the typical like cut, battered, and then fried.
It was it was bright purple with the little suckers on them. I almost didn't try it, but then they were like, "You have to try it." So I gave in, and it was good, but I don't like the tentacles. I just,
Mm.
especially like seeing them, and then
I'm not a fan either, but that's one of the reasons why I love going out dining with others, and they're like, "We're getting this for the table," and I'm like,
yeah,
"Fine,
because you would
do it."
never order it or try it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's important with either heavily integrated friends or someone local.
And yeah, I mean, they had jamon, they had croquetas, but less. They had definitely less. I know, like, typically it's jamon is
Mm.
the main thing, the main appetizer. But here the highlight was the seafood. So I guess that was different, but
Mm.
it was fun. It was a long day. It was another 12-hour event.
What are the hours of a wedding in Galicia? From what time do you start and when do you go home?
In Galicia, I don't know, but it was a daytime wedding, so we ceremony started at 11, which
Mm.
is kind of early, I think. So it started at 11 and then we had dinner at 5 p.m., 4 or 5 p.m.
Mm.
Or not dinner, I'm sorry, lunch. We had lunch at 4 or 5. And they then you do the cocktails and all of that and the dancing, and then they bring out food at the end, like
Mm.
hamburgers, like drunk people food, but everyone's
Drunk
like
people food.
wasted. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like day weddings. Night weddings are rough. I
Mhm.
mean, because I don't know. Anyway, it was a day wedding and it was 11 a.m. And this one, the venue was they took us in buses. So there were no taxis to leave even if you wanted to. We were in the middle of the country or in the
Yeah.
like the countryside. I mean, they don't have Uber, they don't have taxis. We had to leave when when like at the end they cut the music off and they were like, "All right, the buses are leaving." And so we all like went to the buses like cattle,
And
which I didn't like that. I mean,
do
for money reasons, but
do all of the buses leave at the same time, or is it okay? This is the second last bus. Whoever wants to leave now, go. Or were all the
for this wedding,
camels
yeah.
gathered up? Yeah.
For this one, yeah, it was all at one time, I guess. Well, they didn't tell us we could leave earlier, but yeah, we stayed till 1. It
Mm.
was kind of early actually, surprisingly. We left at like 1:30.
Mm.
Um
Well, it was a daytime wedding, so you been there quite a few hours.
I guess it was more than 12 hours, yeah, that we were out. And for me it was I could have stopped at
Yeah.
5 p.m. after the dinner, but it was fun. It was fun.
Mm.
Well, I really appreciated Galicia because it felt like I felt like I wasn't in Spain. Just how different the weather was and the
Mm.
people, and they speak a different language there. Um, I really liked it. I will definitely be going back.
Yeah, Galicia is definitely one of the things, one of the places on my list of places to see.
And then I also lost my wallet.
At the wedding?
I lost it in the metro going to the airport to get to Galicia. So I didn't have my wallet on me the whole time I was there, the whole week. I was like, I hope it's at home. But then we decided to call the airport and to call the metro.
Mm.
And they were like, no, we don't have it. We'll call you back if we find it. And then we were on the way home from the airport
Mm.
and they called us and they were like, we have your wallet here. And I was like, oh, someone turned it in.
Wow, that's amazing. At the
Yeah.
metro or the airport?
In the metro.
That's even more
Surprising.
surprising.
Yeah. So that was my second wallet that I've lost in the year and a half I've been here.
That is crazy. Wow, I'm really impressed. Okay, the first wallet you lost, did someone return it?
No. And I was in Tenerife, no. Lanzarote.
Mm.
No, actually I was in Gran Canaria when
Mm.
I lost it. And yeah, nobody turned it in.
But this
So
time they did. Wow.
the
I'm
good people of
amazing.
Madrid. Yeah.
The good people of Madrid. I never lost my wallet here in Spain. Not
No?
once.
Wow.
Okay, so here's the thing. I actually lost my dog's passport. once. And get this. So I used to live in a small town called Guardamar del Segura, like 10,000 inhabitants, right outside of Torrevieja. And I've been to the vet with my dog, and I have all her papers and her passport in like this, like of some sort. So I took the dog out of the vet with my papers, got into the car, we drove home, went inside, and then like half an hour later, I got a call. And then it turns out that I had left the papers or the book on the top of
Your
my car with
Wow.
her passport. I drove her through the whole Pueblo without it falling off. Then it fell off the car right in front of the real estate office.
That you knew the people.
Yeah, where I knew the people. And then someone turned it in there, and they're like, "Oh, this is Tony." It's like, we know the dog. So then they gave me a call.
So it didn't have your name; it just had her name.
I think my name is there, but dude, I know them. Like, this is family. Like, I used to do all their visual marketing.
Yeah. Oof,
And they're like,
lucky.
"Hey, we have a dog's passport," and I'm like, "How?" Like,
did you realize it was lost, or they called you to tell you?
No, I had no idea it was lost. Even
wow.
They just called me like, "We have it." I'm like, did I lose it? Like,
yeah, I don't know what it is. But recovering the cards, and I don't know if I had cash in my wallet, but I didn't have it when I got it back. So,
well, finder's fee, no? Like,
yes, I'm still so appreciative. So I don't even care. Yeah. So if you're listening and you returned my wallet, thank you very much. Getting those U.S. bank cards would have been a pain in the butt.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, that's a real pain as a foreigner, having bank cards or other kinds of documents from outside the country.
Right. I'm not going to go back just to get it. So that was an experience, another stressful experience.
Mm-hmm.
But actually something happened to me when I was in the wedding, and there was this girl that was friends with the group. And she was from the US, and she had been here for 15 years. She had a very thick American accent when she spoke Spanish. But she spoke, and it made me realize that it gave me kind of like confidence that like I just need to speak and not care. So it kind of leveled me up in a way of like, I don't care if my accent, like people are going to understand me maybe either way. And I don't know, it just gave me this like realization that I just need to speak and not be so in my head about what I sound like, because she has been friends with these people for 15 years and they accept her Spanish even though it's not perfect.
I saw a news piece on TV. I think it was the channel Cuatro, and they had a news reporter or expert from the US commenting on current events there. And you could clearly hear she had as well a really thick American accent, but you understand everything she says.
Yeah.
Like without any problem. I also remember there was a video circulating on Instagram of someone stranded at an airport in Mexico, I think it was. They were from the US. And she was commenting to this Mexican news channel about her situation, how long she needed to wait, etc. And she had the thickest American accent as well. Obviously, that's why this video got sizzled and shared around. But the overwhelming...
To laugh at her, right?
Like, yeah, but the overwhelming support she received in the comments, everyone saying like, yeah, she has American...
speaks.
Yeah, they said like the accent is there, but grammatically this is perfect. Like, why are we
hating?
Like, yeah. Why are we making fun of her? Like, kudos to her.
I guess it's just like a typical like, oh, you're a stupid American, your accent. So I'm like, I get very self-conscious about it. And after seeing her, I was just like, why? I mean, she has these friends that they don't care. They accept her and they love her, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of part of your identity. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I hope that I don't have like the craziest Norwegian accent in Spanish and in English as well. Like, I try to have somewhat of a neutral. I don't like to talk like this because I don't want to sound like a Norwegian. Like, I prefer to have something tad more neutral, and that goes for Spanish as well. But with that said, just speaking with confidence, even though you're either lacking the accent or some words, like it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
anything, it's almost like an underdog story.
Yeah.
You're like
Yeah.
persevering.
Right. And like every time I speak to people, they're like, "Oh, your accent's fine and you speak really well." They're always impressed. So I don't know why I'm scared to talk, but it just in my mind it gave me like a little bit like, okay, you can just speak, just try it. And
Like
yeah,
if
I think
she
that's
can
important.
do it, why can't you?
Right. Yeah.
And now you
Yeah.
will be that to someone else as well. They will be like, well, if she can do it, why can't I?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I appreciated having that person show me that it's okay to, have an accent or maybe not know like not be able to talk like you want to talk, but at least just make the effort and people will appreciate it. It's
Mm,
better than just being silent.
100%. Keep on trying.
Yes. Do you want to go to yours or I still have more things, but I don't want to be just
I have a couple of things. I can like say some of them, throw the ball
okay.
back to you, and
Okay.
then we go
Yeah.
last to me. What have I been up to? I'm glad you asked, Mal. So it just so happens that here the summer weather is here, the temperature is rising. That means we're tempted to go a tad more to the beach. Longer walks are happening more in the evening. If I want to go on a small mountain hike, that will happen during twilight. It will not happen while the sun is still shining. At
Mhm.
best, sunset. So like I'm restructuring a tad like how I walk the dog and how I give myself like light exercise outside.
Mhm.
But more or less like same old, same old. I also on that note went on a rooftop party the other day. It was a collaboration between the co-working space that I go to, ULab, and a co-living space called Sweeters. They kind of try and like mishmash their communities together. People get to network or just chit chat about life, and yeah, a lot of them are foreigners. Like percentage wise, I don't know. Over 50% are foreigners.
Wow.
The rest are Spaniards, but very often with work from outside, like outside of Spain. And yeah, it was some good vibes. Some people are socializing more, others you kind of need to, how do I say, take the initiative, talk with them. It's kind of fun with a mixed group like that because you can clearly see some have more people that they know, they feel a bit safer, and maybe they're a bit more outgoing as well. So they will be like more visually active, mingling and just like
Yeah.
entertaining themselves. Whether it's like, oh, there's a small basketball basket and a small ball, let's throw it, haha, hee hee.
Mm.
Or kind of helping yourself to some of the picoteo, like the snacks there, or the beers as well. And most people they will know or have talked with some of the people working there, either from Sweeters or from ULab. So, and like I'm one of them, like all the things I just said applies to me. So it feels like a really nice setting for me to like say hi to some old friends, some new friends.
Like you're in your comfort zone,
I'm in my
basically.
comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I also feel it's my obligation to make other feel comfortable as well. Okay. That
Hmm.
kind of leans into me being somewhat of a pleaser sometimes, but I still feel it applies. Like if you feel safe in a social setting and you see several other people struggling to mingle, go say hi to a couple of them at least.
Hmm.
And there was one, I don't remember her name. She was British and she was going to be here for a few weeks working. I was talking with someone, a couple of other people, and then she approached us. And she was just very open about not being used to mingling like this. This was her first time doing it, but she was just going to put herself out there. So, of course, we welcome her and, like, hey, where are you from? Da, 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 da.
But were you speaking in Spanish or English?
Most of the people there were speaking in English. Again, over
Really?
50% were foreigners, and a lot of them haven't been here a lot of the time.
Hmm.
But yeah, with them English, with other Spanish, it kind of depends because some of my friends, I guess they adapt slightly. So I will just stay in the lane of Spanish with them. And then there's others, especially new ones, where like we start off in Spanish and then if it gets like really intricate the topic, I'm like, dude, let's just switch over to either Spanglish or English because like now I'm
Yeah.
lost. So no, it was a mix of everything. So good vibes. And the theme was to wear something white. Everyone was encouraged, but not obligated to wear a white outfit. And for some reason, I thought that was fun. Don't ask me why. I never been like asked to wear a certain color at an event. So I actually went out and bought myself a new pair of shorts because I didn't have white ones.
Did you wear all white?
White shirt, white socks, white shoes. Yeah.
And shorts, white shorts.
And white shorts, yeah. The belt was black, unfortunately. But other than that, everything was white.
Okay. And did everyone go all white? Because that is a bold move.
In the last confirmation for the event, the WhatsApp that they sent around, because WhatsApp, of course, they expressed that you don't have to wear something white. And several people that I was talking with ahead of time, they said, oh, I don't know if I'm going to wear white. I think I'm going to wear something like pastel. And I was like, no, go white. Please go white. Yeah.
Well, why? Why did they ask you to wear white? They just chose white?
I think it was just like a fun summer theme. It's something different. The heat is here. Let's just wear white. I can't think of a better reason. Like there was no wedding, so
yeah.
And at a wedding, it would be really weird if everyone wore something white.
That's a no-no. Yeah.
Yeah, the opposite of a wedding. Oh, maybe that was the thing. I didn't get it, but maybe it was a speed date event, and I just didn't.
Was it a speed dating event?
No, there were people flirting there. Maybe someone used it as a speed dating event, but no, it wasn't. It was just like mingling, chit-chatting, having some fun. So yeah, rooftop party with foreigners and Spaniards. And another thing that I recently did was meet up with one of my sisters, Otelia. She and her boyfriend or partner and their kid, they're actually renting a house for just 1 month outside of Torrevieja. They're just taking in the heat. Like context, they live in Norway, so coming down here to Spain for a month, it can be nice. I think it's getting a bit hot for them now, but yeah, they have a pool, they have air conditioning, so they will survive. And it was so nice seeing her again. It's been such a long time, and it was my first time meeting my nephew as well. And yeah, just saying hi to her partner and the kid. I got to be uncle for a couple of hours. It was really nice.
How old is the kid?
Don't ask me difficult questions like that.
Like walking, talking?
No. Like he's transitioning from like crawling to walking.
Okay. Really small then.
Yeah. I don't see my family very often on this side of Europe. So it was really nice.
But did she come there for you or?
No, they're there. Like obviously, like they want to say hi, but no, they came down because it made sense. They were looking at different alternatives. Like on this side of Europe, they wanted something hot, something easy, if that makes sense. Like they're traveling with a kid, so they want amenities to be in place and the travel to not be too cumbersome. And it just made sense to come here.
Are there direct flights from Norway to?
Yeah, but it depends where you travel from. I think they had a layover.
Okay.
Within Norway, so it's not too long. I might be wrong. Maybe it was a direct flight, but most flights have. If it's not from Oslo, it will have like one layover and then come down. So yeah, got to see some family and gonna meet up with them soon. Again, I'm gonna try. It's hard because I have work, I have obligations, so trying to like balance hanging with them and finding time to do everything, it can be a challenge. I'm not complaining by any means. Just saying that sometimes it's hard. They're not visiting me, they're staying at their own place about an hour drive from where I am. So that's not the same as someone coming to Alicante and staying with me. It's less pressure on me. It takes less things out of my. It's nice getting visitors, whether it's here or like indirectly here, like my sister. but sometimes it's frustrating because you can't quite carve out as much time as you want to hang out with them because you have obligations and other stuff in your life going on. But with that said, just meeting them a few times, it's 1,000 times better than nothing.
Right. Or flying to Norway and making that effort. So
yes, 100%.
Good to take advantage while they're there.
I have more stuff that I did, but I want to throw the ball back to you and hear more about your adventures lately.
Well, I got my hair cut, and it was so that realization that I had about like, okay, just don't be scared, just speak. I went and got my hair cut, and the girl was Spanish, and I had a bad experience the last time I got my hair cut here. And my boyfriend actually like went with me and helped me like communicate what I wanted. But this time I just did it by myself, and I'm always scared of the hair to get my hair cut, even in English. So it's kind of an intimate moment, I think. And I was just riding on the feeling of like, okay, I'm this American chick that lives here in Spain, like with the accent, like I'm just gonna be that girl. And so it was like a 30-minute thing where you're sitting in this chair and you have to make small talk. And
Do you make small talk?
I did.
Yeah.
In the US, not really. But a lot of women get like a good relationship with their hairdresser because it's so, I don't know, it's something that a lot of people do frequently. And I don't know, you just get to know them on a personal level, and then you're just talking, updating about your life. It's an interesting relationship, but I'm not usually one to do that. But I did this time because I'm like, I wanted her to know that my English or my Spanish was not that good, but I didn't want to say like my Spanish isn't good. So I was just telling her like, oh, I've only been here a year, and I don't know. Then she was like telling me that she was telling me that she lived abroad and that she knows how I feel. And it was just like a way to connect, that if I would have just said nothing, then she would have never offered that she knows what it feels like to feel like a foreigner. So it was interesting. It was fun.
Sounds like a really nice experience.
And I like my haircut, so she did a good job.
You were able to communicate it. How do you communicate it? With words,
no.
I assume, but do you have any reference photo?
No, always photos.
Yeah.
Photos. I was just like, she was like, what do you want to do? Just cut the ends? And I'm like, yes, but I have a photo. I was just like, I have a photo. Let's just, because I don't know like all the small details in Spanish. I just don't. I was studying the night before because I was so nervous, but I'm like, okay, I don't know exactly what to say.
I love it. Yeah.
Like those cheat sheets that are like, in la peluqueria, like you can say this. Or I just ended up saying, this is a photo of what I want. And then she was like, okay, perfect. And yeah, it went well. I was scared. My boyfriend has been helping me and going with me to all these appointments, and now I'm starting to do them by myself, and I felt really good afterwards, like that I did it by myself.
For anyone listening, that threshold there of doing things more on your own and not just purely for communication reasons, but like emotionally, like it can be so hard and it can be so emotionally draining, not just during but before and sometimes after as well. I can so relate to everything that you're saying, and it can be a topic for another day, but there's so many small silly things that I have been like just worrying, staying up at night, maybe even unconsciously sometimes, but like just draining me completely energy wise.
That if you were doing it in Norway, you would never even, you wouldn't lose any sleep. Yeah.
You wouldn't bat an eye at all.
Yeah.
So kudos.
But you didn't have a Spanish boyfriend to accompany you with.
Well,
so you had to learn the hard way.
I have learned the hard way, but to be fair, I've had 2 Spanish girlfriends. They have helped me a bit as well.
Like gone to appointments with you?
No, maybe maybe a couple of times, but
Really?
no,
That's
mostly I all that to say, yes, I've done things on my own, but I've gotten help as well.
Well, that's good.
I want to give credit where credit is due. So
Yeah, it's definitely draining. But then once you nail it the first time, you're like, okay, I'm ready to like I can go get my hair cut again by myself, and it's like being a kid.
are you going to go back to the same hairdresser?
I think so. I liked her, yeah. And it was affordable.
For anyone listening, what do you pay for a haircut?
Ooh, yes. Actually, I did want to talk about that.
Mm.
In San Francisco, the last time I went a year ago, I paid $130 for a haircut.
130 US dollars, okay?
Here I paid 30 euros for a haircut. That is insane. And I mean, I know that the US is notorious for having high prices for beauty care, but
Mm.
I think 130 is a little bit much for a haircut.
Did you get a glass of something
No,
to drink?
nothing.
No special treatment.
Just like a basic hair. They wash your hair and then they cut it. That's a big difference.
Do you want to know what I pay for my haircuts?
Yes. Here and in Norway.
It's been such a long time in Norway. Not at a barber shop, but at a hairdresser. They wash my hair and then they cut it. I think I paid around 600 Norwegian kroners, which with the current exchange rate, a bit over 50 euros maybe.
No way.
No, is it more? Well, remember, first off, it's Norway. And it's like I didn't get a haircut in a city. I got it in a smaller town. Like the prices are quite different because pay for rent, etc., is lower in a small town than in a city. So that actually affects the prices. And then I'm a dude. Dude haircuts are cheaper in general.
But 50 is a lot, I think.
It's a lot for you?
Yes, for a man. But I don't know. When my boyfriend was in San Francisco, when I was living there, he paid $60 for a haircut, but he got scammed because they knew he was not from there, and I think they just took advantage of him.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just checked the exchange rate, and as of today or during this recording, 600 Norwegian kroners is 52.45 euros.
Wait, so you guys don't use euros?
No, we don't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We don't. We have our own currency.
But you're part of the European Union?
No, we have our own collaboration, like financially. So it's like officially, no, they're not part of EU, but you have more or less the same stuff that you do together. So that's what I paid. I paid in Norway for a haircut 52 euros. Do you want to know what I pay here? At a barbershop, they don't wash my hair. I usually come just as is there. Mm-hmm. They pay 15. No, I pay 15.
Like they pay you 15.
They pay me 15 for coming there just to show my face. They love cutting my hair.
15. Okay. Well, I guess that makes sense. I guess men's cuts are half of what the cost of a woman's is.
Yeah. And again, like at that particular place, it's a barber shop. They don't need to wash my hair either. They can just cut it. It's fairly simple. And I'm starting to get a pretty okay relationship with him. Like every time I call, yes, I call, and I'm so proud. I call him, and then I just say like, hey, it's the Norwegian here, El Noruego. And then he says like, hola, Tony. ¿Cómo estás? And then he asked me like, when you want your haircut? And he lives, or the barber shop is just down the street here, 5 minutes walking. It's like that local feel. I love it. Last time I even brought the same chocolate I gave to you, I gave to him the other day for him to give to his kids. I'm like, hey, here's a gift for your kids. And he was like, oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
Having relationships like that it feels good. In a foreign country, especially.
It is. It is. And like, we don't need to have like the deepest friendship. It's just, I know something about him, he knows something about me. And then you chit chat a bit while you're getting your haircut done and you feel like you're part of the community. It's a great way for me to practice my Spanish.
So the takeaway is that if you want to get your haircut, come to Spain.
and try to practice some words and bring photos to show how
Yes,
you want it
use the
cut.
photos. This is my last thing, I think. Well, there's a few things, but the day after we got back from Galicia, we had one day in Madrid. I got my hair cut, and then the next day we went to Barcelona. I went to see my friend. She's my oldest friend from my life, the oldest friend I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is
she
she
came
like
here.
80 years old?
The oldest friend that I've had.
I
The
thought
oldest
you were gonna say
friendship. The oldest friendship.
she's 120 years old.
I knew I was saying that wrong. The oldest, we have been friends since we could like walk. She was here for a wedding, and it was really fun to see her. She also had a baby that I met for the first time,
Oh, that's so nice.
and he was so cute. Her husband is from Venezuela,
Mhm.
and then the whole group of friends is Spanish speaking. And so we went to this house, this friend's family member's house in
Mhm.
Barcelona, like in the north of Barcelona. And the mom and the dad of the, I don't know, they were like grandparents. I was talking with them, and it was nice to be able to, speak to them. And I mean, they spoke English,
Mhm.
but they were like shocked that I could speak Spanish because my friend doesn't speak Spanish. I guess they were just impressed that a girl from the US could keep up a conversation.
Dude, that's such a confident booster. Them not expecting it, and then you're like, "Sí, hablo
Yeah.
español."
Yeah. Well, the woman kept forgetting. She was like, "Oh, you speak Spanish."
Mm.
Because she was like trying to use her English, which she spoke English pretty well.
Mm.
But I was just like, "Oh yeah, I know what you're doing." And then I would like speak in Spanish, and she'd be like, "Oh yeah, you speak Spanish." We did that like 3 times. But
Mm.
yeah, I
But
don't know.
your friend, she doesn't speak any Spanish, or is it that she understands some, but she doesn't really use it, given that her husband is a native speaker?
I don't want to speak for her, but yeah, she doesn't speak. I think she understands some things, but she never studied. I mean, in the US, you don't need Spanish.
I was just about to
That's
say, if they live in the US,
Yeah.
obviously there's perks about it, but like if she doesn't need it day to day, I totally get it. Like I learn under pressure. I wouldn't learn Spanish if I lived in Norway.
Yeah, same. Right. So I was feeling grateful for being here because you just miss out on so much if you cannot join in on the conversation.
Mm.
There's always, I mean, maybe I guess you just wouldn't hang out with all Spanish speaking people, but there's so much that it's so nice to be part of the conversation, or at least understanding the conversation. And I don't know, it like so many people in the world speak Spanish, so it's such a good skill to have, and you can take it anywhere in the world and you'll probably be able to get by better than if you didn't know Spanish.
On 3 occasions the last few years, I've spoken Spanish in Norway. First time I met a group of nurses just on the street. I was sitting on a bench looking at the sunset. And then they came and sat down on a bench next to me. I heard they were Spanish speaking. I started chatting with them, and we end up going bowling together like an hour later. Like it was super fun. And then there was one guy, he lost his phone at a hotel and he didn't speak English. He was there with his family though, so if he just talked with his son, I guess he would get some help. But there I could step in like, hey, what are you trying to communicate to the receptionist here? And then helped in. So I'm like, you're welcome. And then I was at a bar, and then I was chit-chatting with a dude, and he said like, oh, I think the people here are from Colombia. And then I just started asking them like, hey, where are you guys from? We're from Colombia. And then you get to again be like, yeah, I speak a bit of Spanish. I don't want to be an asshole, but man, I feel so cool.
I mean, it's good for your ego, but also like those kind of moments, it's not only good for your ego, but just they're nice interactions.
They are.
Like it's, I don't know. It's good. It makes you feel good. It connects you with people. I just feel like Spanish speaking people are always so, it's a nice connection. I don't know how to explain it, but especially these people were so sweet. The culture in Latin America must be very different. You could just tell that culturally they were a little bit more welcoming and a little bit more love. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna.
Most of these, were they Venezuelan or like a mix of South American or Latin countries?
No, mostly Venezuelan.
Because I have some Venezuelan friends, and honestly, whenever I'm with them and it's a birthday party for someone or it's just a gathering, I genuinely feel the love in the room. It
Yeah.
sounds so woo-woo, but it's true. Like I feel it to my core.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe I should look for a Venezuelan. Like,
yeah, I mean, they were just all very sweet, welcoming. Not to say anything bad about Spanish people from Spain, but like they feel different. Even the way they speak to you, it's just different. I
yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah, I guess maybe it's true. It wasn't just my perception. We're fans of Venezuelans.
Have you tried the arepas?
Yes. From him, actually. He made us
Yeah.
arepas one time. So good.
Good. Then maybe that's part of the equation. Like they give you the delicious arepas, and then you're like, I love Venezuela.
No. I mean, socially, they're very welcoming, and they were like they treat you like family, you know? Like I felt like very welcome there.
Mm.
So yeah, we were there for 3 days, and I prefer Madrid. That's maybe a controversial statement. I feel like Madrid is cleaner. Maybe it was just the neighborhood I was in. We stayed near the train station, but and the neighborhood I live in, I feel like is exceptionally clean, but it just felt like smelly and there was garbage and I don't know, just not as well kept. And I think there's something for me that feels safer. Like if it's dirty, it feels a little bit more unsafe.
I get what you mean. Barcelona has a lot of different neighborhoods. I think I know Barcelona better than Madrid. Yeah, of course I do. I've been there several times, even though I don't know Barcelona. I haven't thought about it like that, but I guess I understand what you mean.
Yeah, it's a different feel. It's totally different, the culture there. And I just don't know. I feel like everything, it's expensive. It feels more expensive to me than Madrid. Like everything is kind of tourist trap-esque.
A lot of Barcelona is exactly that. Yeah.
Like you pay for every little thing that you want to do. In Madrid, there's like, I don't know, maybe that's that. Maybe I'm just like making excuses now. But...
In Madrid, you can find wallets on the metro with cash in them. That's what you're referring to?
Yes, we're going back. Yeah, full circle. I don't know if that would happen in Barcelona. Actually, that's another thing. There was there was a light pole and someone had posted a sign that said, "I lost my phone. Please call me at this number." And I'm like, now I know I'm in Barcelona. I took a picture because I thought it was funny. But I did not get my phone stolen and I did not lose my wallet.
I have a friend, a Kiwi, a guy from New Zealand who lives in Barcelona. I think he's been there 5 years-ish. One of the first days after arriving, he got robbed and lost everything.
Everything what? Like
camera, phone, belongings, everything. I guess he had everything packed in like one suitcase or one backpack. And yeah, but short summary, he got some help. And I think he went further south to go work on a farm for like a few weeks or something, just to like get some cash and like build himself up again. And
oh my gosh.
Like in the moment, it sucks getting robbed, but he said as like character building experience, it was amazing. Like he had so many benefits from it.
So he would get robbed again if he could?
I think he's done getting robbed. Now he will just chase them down instead. He works full-time as a photographer in Barcelona now. He's a YouTuber as well, and he's just thriving, being part of the hustle and bustle there.
So do you like Barcelona better than Madrid then?
They're just different. They're different. Barcelona for me is a place where I want to meet friends. Like I'm actually going there. His name is Brad. I'm going to go meet him there next weekend. and stay there the
Okay.
weekend. And it's probably a couple of years since I've been to Barcelona, so that's going to be nice. When I think of going to Madrid, yes, there's meeting people, friends, but there's also the city itself. There's also the city itself that kind of like draws me to it. Barcelona, it's people that I know that draws me there, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say
Yeah.
that Barcelona doesn't have good things about it, but no, Madrid, it's like people that I know and the city itself. Barcelona, it's like, well, it's Barcelona, it's nice. And
Like if
my
you
friends are
didn't
there.
know anybody there, then you wouldn't go, maybe.
For me, Brad is Barcelona. Whenever I think of Barcelona, it's like, that's where Brad lives. I want to go visit Brad.
Yeah. So you don't like Barcelona then?
Are you trying
Because
to
if
get
Brad
a
was in
controversial
Madrid-
statement here? I hate Barcelona. That's what you want me to say?
We're going to title it We Hate Barcelona.
I like Barcelona. I'm just not in love with the city.
It feels, it's just different. I guess that's all I can say.
But I gotta admit, now that we're talking about Barcelona and I know that I'm going there next weekend, I'm kind of getting hyped up in the moment. Like now I'm looking forward to getting back to the city and Brad.
Yeah. Hyped up in a good way, right?
Yes. Can you get hyped up in a bad way?
Well, I didn't know where you were going with it. So
like I guess that's hyperventilating.
I mean, thinking about getting robbed, I feel like that's one way to hype yourself.
I think I'm starting to jinx it. Like I've never gotten robbed in my life.
Please knock on wood, because we don't want that happening.
No, please don't rob me. I'll be so scared if it happens.
Good content for the podcast.
Good content. Yeah, I'll make sure to
record
write.
whatever possible.
Yeah. I'm recording you, and then he just snaps my phone and runs off.
And then you don't have the content. So
I'm like, no. Okay, I'll be sure to live stream it somehow.
Other than Barcelona, I guess after I got back from Barcelona, I had to go to the doctor. I've gone to the doctor a few times actually in the last few weeks, but something funny that happened to me was the doctor asked me, well, I'm having surgery this week, but the doctor asked me how much I weigh and how tall I am, and I have no idea because we use feet and we use different metrics to measure ourselves. So I knew that she was going to ask me during the appointment. So I was sitting there like she was like talking and I was Googling like, okay, what is this in centimeters? And then when she finally asked me, I did it perfectly. In the past, people have like doctor or at the hospital, people ask me like, how much do you weigh? How tall are you? And I'm always like, I have no idea. And people are like, just tell me something. Like we don't really care, but just give me a number. And so this time I came prepared.
Because of Tinder, weirdly enough. I don't know why, but there was like a hang up where it only showed feet. So I was like forced to like convert in my head. How tall am I and how tall are these chicas that I'm looking at? In centimeters, I'm 185, even though my passport says 186. I guess it depends on the day. And in feet, I'm pretty sure that's 6'1".
No, you're taller than 6'1".
Isn't? Hold on. Let's see. Let me ask chat. 185 centimeters in feet. Chat says 6.1.
Really?
Well, let's ask 186. Let's add 1 centimeter. Then feet 1.2 inches. So yeah, 6'1". So you know how much you weigh and how tall you are. I'm impressed. Like a responsible, grown-up person.
I feel like a child, but yes, I'm learning things about myself.
I actually bought a scale, bascula. That's what you call like a weight scale.
That sounds probably yes.
I think it is. I bought one the other day because I don't know how heavy I am, and I've been kind of skinny fat this spring. So like I've been
just this
watching.
spring.
A bit before as well. Just rub it in, okay? And so I went like super hard calorie deficit for a few weeks, and my only metric was just like squeezing my belly. I'm like, it feels nice now. But then when I was transitioning to not writing down every single calorie, but I just wanted to eyeball, it kind of made sense to buy a scale. And also for just seeing fat percentage, even though it's not 100%, it's an indicator if you're going up or down at least. Yeah, I was actually weighing a tad less than I thought. So that was interesting.
Good.
And now I'm trying to not get hung up every day looking at it. But like every other day, I will weigh myself. I get the data on my phone and I send it to chat. It's like, hey, remember this for the future.
Every day you send it?
Every other day. Like once a week is sufficient, but it's just to like a way to like not forget it. I don't think too much about it. I get up in the morning, it does its thing, I send it off, and yeah, it didn't cost that much. I think it was 25 euros. I bought it at Decathlon. For anyone listening from outside of Spain, Decathlon, it's what would we call it? A franchise of
Sporting
sporting
goods.
equipment. Yeah, sporting goods. And they have pretty good
It's the best.
bang. They have good bang for buck there.
Yes, I agree.
I felt my feet were a bit big when I stepped on the scale. I was like, to save cost, I feel like the platform on the scale was like pretty low. Like I'm still on the scale, but it's like it's not a lot of wiggle room here for my feet.
Because you bought it in Spain. Spanish people are smaller.
To be fair, if you just pay a bit more, I'm pretty sure you get like a bigger scale to put your feet on.
So you went with the
Yeah.
the budget option.
Yes. 25. Again, I just want to see what direction I'm going. If I change from 15% body fat to 15.1 in a day, like that inaccuracy, I'm totally fine with that.
Well, you know you're supposed to weigh yourself first thing in the morning. Like that's the only way, because once you
Yeah. I get up in the morning, do my thing, weigh, so it's like almost same, like clockwise, it's the same every day as well.
Yeah.
And again, we're looking at an average here. So as long as it's early in the day and I haven't had 3 pounds of jamon or croquetas.
Or queso.
Or queso, yeah.
So basically, I think that's all I have to say. I have not yet mastered the going to doctor's appointments by myself. I've been starting to make phone calls in Spanish, and
that's so good. Phone calls in Spanish, it's a hard one.
Yeah, I still need practice, but it's making progress. So I feel like
progress.
Since the last time we spoke, I've grown a whole Spanish year.
A whole Spanish year. I love it.
In my development as a Spanish speaking person. But yeah, what else have you been up to? We'll go back to your...
So I have one last thing that I want to share, and that is that I went on a camping trip this weekend. I went with some Spanish friends. Well, let's see. Yeah, they're Spanish, but bit of caveat. So there's one guy from Alicante. Then there's two guys from Alicante. One that I often think of her as Spanish, but she's actually Argentinian, but she's been living here big parts of her life. She's like 26. Like she doesn't have the Alicantino accent, but she doesn't sound like super hardcore Argentinian. Then there's one, she's 30 years old. She's been 20 years here, so I would qualify her as Spanish, but she's Ukrainian. So it's a Spanish group, but it's kind of like mixed internationally. But everything, like all talking, all chit-chatting is in Spanish with that group.
Okay. And how did that go? How did the Spanish go?
It got well. It went well. Well, you met Carlos. He was one of them. And then the girlfriend, and then another friend, and then another friend. And they're kind of used to my level. So like every once in a while they adapt a bit. And it's something about me being used to them and hearing how they banter in certain ways and like their vocabulary. It doesn't mean that I understand everything. Not close, but you kind of get used to it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So
comfortability, but also like even the little like nuances of how they speak, or like the way that they
Mm.
like even stutter or just
Yes,
yeah.
I haven't thought about it like that, but yeah, I feel comfortable with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like if I can't find the words or I screw up, it's kind of like a safe space being with them. Like I known them for a few years now, and they just accept me for me, and
Yeah.
it's such an wow, it's such a nice feeling, you know? So going camping with them, I don't stress at all in terms of language. It's just nice being around them and
Yeah.
chit chatting. And if I really don't understand and I want to understand, they will just switch over for like a half a sentence and then I've caught up
Keep
and
going.
vice
Yeah.
versa. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went camping. Again, anyone listening, it's June. So it's kind of hot going camping. But we went on a 2 hour drive to a place called um, Morataya, I think it's called. It's part of Comunidad de Murcia. So you drive from the coast and then inwards into the
Mm-hmm.
country. So you're a bit higher up in the mountains, I would say. And we're at a camping place, if I can say that. Like there's a fenced area. Some people out there with camper vans. There are cabins that you can rent there. And then there's lots for people who just want to set up their tent. And then you have like service or utility buildings with bathrooms, showers, etc. There's a pool there as well. There's a restaurant, there's a reception. So it's like a nice mix of nature, but you have facilities there.
Mm-hmm.
There's plumbing and
Yeah.
electricity if you need it, but you sleep in your tent.
Okay. You guys didn't rent like cabins or
No, we go low budget. We go like how do I say, kind old fashioned in one way, because this kind of camping reminds me more of like things from when I was a kid. This is the second time I've done it here in Spain. It's with the same group, but in a different place, but same vibe.
wait, so you've been before?
Yes. No, not the same place. Same group, but different place.
Okay. Okay.
Last time we were a bit closer to the coast, and temperature wise, it makes a huge difference. Just go a bit inwards.
Mm-hmm.
I did have like a super small portable table fan that I used to tad, but the most important thing is just like fine shadow. And this time when we went camping, there were a lot of trees covering. So when the sun was blasting, yeah, you could feel it. But the trees and the branches, they help a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So sleeping there wasn't a problem. It wasn't too hot. But trying to do a siesta midday in the tents, wow, it is hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is awful. So we were there from Friday to Sunday. Again, we do like low budget, so you do a mix of like bringing some of your own food in like small coolers. Obviously, that won't last until Sunday. So it's like the first day and a half where you have your drinks, you have your food. If it's a good cooler and you keep it in the shadow, like some of them will last like 30 hours actually. I was surprised how good some of them lasted. And yeah, we brought food, snacks, and we all had like a half circle where we set up the tents. We had like typical camping chairs and foldable tables. We just set our picoteo drinks there, and then we chit chat in the evening or midday. We eat a bit. We brought Bluetooth speakers, a guitar, and it was just good vibes. And again, we're in the mountains, so there's possibility of either go walking next to a river, a bit in the forest there. There's like creeks going through there. We went on a small hike, about an hour walk. I think it was like 3 kilometers, more or less.
Okay.
And we came to what they called Baño de Naturaleza. So it's a creek where they have partially made it into a dam, so you can like dive in if you're careful, or just jump in the water there. There's rocks where you can just suntan a bit, and you don't have to walk too far to get like really nice views, like the nature scenery there. And the reception was mixed, so it's like a reminder to not spend too much time on your phone and just be there in the moment.
So you had reception, but not very good, not
Yeah, it will
reliable.
be like I'm standing next to my tent. I don't have anything. I walk 10 meters, then I have some reception.
Mm-hmm.
If I went to the restaurant, there was Wi-Fi, like if I really needed to do something. But other
Yeah.
than that, it's just like a gentle nudge towards no mindfulness. We're at
Yeah.
a camping.
You guys just had the gear?
Well, you borrow, but yeah, most of the gear we had. Like the tent, for example. I didn't have the tent or the mattress, but one of my friends, we shared the tent. She had the mattress, she had the tent. We went with my car. And then ahead of time, we have a group, a WhatsApp group, obviously, where everyone just makes sure that everyone has more or less what they need. Like if not, it's like, hey, do you know someone who has this? Or did you remember to bring the air pump? Not like super rigid with a spreadsheet where we make sure everyone has everything, but like more or less just to make sure that it would be a nice experience for everyone.
That's cool.
It was cool. Yeah.
So is that a yearly thing now that you guys are gonna do?
If we go next year, I think it is. I will say
Yeah.
this. The only caveat with going there is that there's a lot of families with kids
Oh.
and it can be fun and it's like paradise for them. But for us, a group that goes there without any kids or pets, it can be like, oh, it's a bit noisy. Let's go to our own corner of this facility. But no, it's fine. It's fine. And it was a cool place. I would recommend it to anyone wanting to go camping somewhere. And it's budget here. Like this is not glamping for better or worse. Like some people they don't like camping, but they will go to a glamping facility. Where we went last year, it was a combination of budget and they had some really nice tents and like some new cabin setup that was like clearly this is glamping. This is for people who do not want to do coolers in a in a tent in the
I feel like you have to go full, like you can't just do it halfway. Like if you're gonna go camping, you should just go with the cooler and like rough it, we say. Like just I don't think you can mix like a hotel experience with that kind of surroundings. It's just more authentic.
Yeah, we definitely roughed this one. I'm gonna ask the other for permission. If I don't get it, then we need to cut this part. But we took an epic Polaroid. I sent it to you earlier today, and it was so cool because we really I spent 2 days planning that photo because man, Polaroids. I have a Polaroid camera from the 80s, 8 slides, 8 Polaroid papers, costs between 18 and 20 euros. It's like really expensive. So when I take a photo, I plan it out. And I haven't bought paper for that camera for a few years now. But I bought recently. And I told the audience, like, hey, do whatever photos with phones. Carlos brought the camera as well. But this Polaroid, together, we're going to plan one photo and make it a good one. So on the last day, when we have gone hiking, we've done the food, we went to the pool, we've seen the scenery, I made a decision and they agreed that the most scenic would be having us placed in our camping chairs in front of the tents. And it's like such a clear image of we went here. So I went over to the neighbor lot, asked if they could take the photo. And I have spent a lot of time just like watching through the viewfinder of my Polaroid to make sure that, okay, if I stand exactly here, like you can't miss this photo unless like you go like diving down with the camera. So whomever takes the photo, if I just place her here and say, hold it steady and make sure we're in the frame, like really simple instructions, it will be the perfect photo. When I got the photo, because you need to wait like 5 to 10 minutes before it starts appearing something.
Developing.
And you should keep the photo somewhere in the shadow somewhere. And my first reaction was, oh no, like she placed us on the bottom half of the image and I wanted us to be centered. But when I looked at the photo the second time, I realized in the background, you can see the trees from the camping, and you can see caravans from the 80s. And this is taken with a camera from the 80s. It's such a retro vibe, the whole photo.
Yeah.
And even though my feet are cut off at the end of the frame, I love that photo.
Yeah, I think nowadays with photos, with Instagram and all that, there's like an aesthetic that you're trying to go for, but back in the day, you had to trust the artistic ability of the photographer, of the amateur photographer that was taking the photo. And you had one shot. You couldn't just,
Mm.
just take 10. Like you could only do one, and we survived. It gives me anxiety, something like the Polaroid photo, the one shot thing, but
Oh, it does, but it's better to take the shot than to take no shots. Like if it starts holding you back like that, it's like, dude, now we're just wasting time and energy.
yeah.
So no, it's a great exercise, and again, I love that photo. So yeah, that was my experience. I will mention one more thing about the camping.
Yeah.
I didn't go camping that often as a kid, but every now and then we would go somewhere and do stuff. And for me, going camping with some of my friends here now, it feels like an authentic experience. Instead of just meeting at a bar for Tardeo or for a social meetup or the rooftop, which, by the way, I love those experiences. It feels...
I mean, it's becoming something that people don't do anymore, right? It's almost like a thing of the past.
It, again, like I was just referencing it, the caravans in the background, 80s. I used to do it as a kid. Okay, not in the 80s, but not, that was 90s, but still, maybe it's like a full circle feeling that I'm experiencing, something nostalgic about it. I used to do it as a kid, and I do it with you, and that makes you a true friend, or I don't know. It's hard to put into words. It was just a nice overall experience, and I don't mind doing it as a yearly thing. I don't think I'm gonna go camping more this year, but next year, yeah, let's go again.
Once a year, your yearly
Once a year.
fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to go as a kid at several times in the summer, so at multiple times a year, and as I got older, I did it less. So I think as I, got into my career and started making money, I was like, that is not the plan that I want to do, because you have more money, you can afford to stay in a hotel. It's kind of more of like it's a cheap thing that you can do with your kids, a way to like get them out, right?
It's a budget alternative. And even though you could see people from different income brackets at the camping, it's clearly like the majority represented there, they will not go to Marriott anytime soon. Like it's budget, but with all the perks of it as well. And we intended it as a budget trip as well. We were not gonna spend our hard earnings on a glamping trip. No, it was camping, low budget. That's it. That's the vibe.
I also feel like as I get older, like my body just physically does not do well if I'm not in a bed. So sleeping on a little blow up mattress, I don't know. It's difficult to willingly do that. But then if you're with good people and you have a nice plan, I think it's definitely worth doing.
My arms fell asleep several times on the air mattress. So coming home to aircon and a proper bed, what a luxury. But what you just said, you're around people that you're comfortable with. And everyone in this group, they are so easy to travel with. There's no one who says, I want to do it my way. No, everyone listens to the group collectively. And then we make decisions based on what the group wants. And luckily, most of the people want more or less the same thing.
That can be challenging to find. So good to, traveling with people is difficult.
It's a friendship.
Camping is like another level, I feel like.
Yeah, it is. No doubt. Like it's a recipe for friction. So go with true friends.
So are people in Norway, do they tend to be camping people? Because it's totally like a lifestyle. Like once you buy the gear, like you feel like you have to go again. So would you say that people in Norway are more likely to be camping, outdoorsy people?
First, I want to categorize it into three groups of people. You have glamping, you have glamping, you have camping on a designated area, and then you have camping in the woods. In Norway, you will find all three of
Okay.
them. You have people who go into the woods. You have people who never go into the woods, but they go to the camping area, either with tent or caravan. And then you have glamping for the people who would prefer to stay at a hotel, but they want to do some Instagram shots. And you find all of them in Norway. And get this. I would say the middle bracket is where you will find lower income people, because if you're going to go into the woods, you usually require a bit more.
You have to bring your own
gear.
Resources.
Yeah, like if you're going in a harsh climate camping, you can't willy-nilly a old sleeping bag. You need to have proper gear. You need to have waterproof equipment. You need to have all the utilities to prepare food. If you go with cheap gear to a designated camping area, you can get by with the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what our plan have been both years, going to these designated areas. You don't need crazy amount of equipment. You just need enough, and you have your car close. So if you fill it up with too much gear, we'll just leave it in the car. That's it. You don't need to walk 10 kilometers and then, oh no, I forgot this thing.
Okay. But would you say like a majority of Norwegians are camping people?
They used to be. Now I will say it's more on these two brackets, like the outdoor woodsy, and then the glamping.
Yeah, I feel like the camping, like the designated camping spots they're becoming less. I don't know why. It's just not something that people choose to do. I don't know.
A lot of people look at it as tacky because there's a lot of tacky people there. So it's like you don't want to be associated with them.
You think that's why people don't do it?
I think it's partially why people don't do it. In Norway and Scandinavia as a whole, like Sweden and probably Finland as well. I don't know how much in Denmark. There's this whole like society of living parts of the year at designated camping area with your caravans, and your caravan is parked there. So you have basically built a cabin that's attached to it that's bigger than the caravan itself. The caravan is more for electricity, water, the kitchen, obviously, bathroom, and the rest is bedroom and a salon. And you can do that with style, but no, there's some tacky subcultures out there. There's TV shows about it and everything.
Making fun of those people.
Yeah.
Or the act of it. Yeah. That's sad. It's sad because
it's both a celebration and they're making fun of them, but yeah.
A celebration how?
One can interpret a show
like you're respecting the fact that they're doing it, right?
It's like showing a documentary without a VO pushing you in a certain narrative. It's more like an open-ended solution, one could say, but giving, like, with my editing eye, watching some of it, they're very heavily making fun of them. But it's like you're like partially laughing with them as well. It's hard to describe. Like some of these characters in some of these shows, they have gone on to be like hyper celebrities in Norway, where they're like almost accepted into, if not the snobby elite, the mainstream most known people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they're just honest, like they're celebrating, like, oh, you're tacking, you don't care. That's so refreshing. I want some of that.
I wonder if camping is less popular now because of social media and smartphones. Because it's not really something that's like Instagrammable necessarily. I guess it could be, but
in terms of postureo and snobbiness, no, by no means Instagram friendly.
And like being without phone service makes people uncomfortable nowadays. So it's just, it's like we're just so used to always having service, always having everything now. And people just don't choose that kind of, that's not their ideal weekend, maybe.
Yeah.
Because of social media.
Look at Apagon. I would be a lot more comfortable if I was at that camping area.
In an Apagon situation.
Yeah, I have my cooler with my beer and my snacks.
And life is good.
Maybe that's the main takeaway. Have all the equipment for camping. So if a Apagon happens, you can still go camping.
I don't have the money or the storage space. But I share your sentiment of like, it's a very authentic way to spend time with people. And you really have to like the people you're with. If you're stuck there with subpar phone service and and you don't like talking to them, like, what are you going to do?
Circling back to what I mentioned earlier, it's a combination of these were things I used to do as a kid. These are new people in a new country, but in a familiar setting from the past. And it makes me feel safe.
So why do you only want to go once a year?
Because it's so damn hot.
Why don't you go in like April or May or September?
Can we just let it be a yearly thing? Just because it's nice doesn't mean that we need to
abuse it.
Yeah.
No, but now I want to go.
Well, maybe you need to start saving for camping equipment.
I mean, I'm sure there's places to go around here. I like the camping topic.
That was my last week of things.
Our updates 2 hours in,
there's
unreal.
No doubt that we have no problems filling our episodes with stuff to talk about.
But we also have been doing a lot of things.
It's
just a busy time of year.
It is a busy time of year. If you keep saying if you keep saying yes to invitations and you're a bit forward leaning, your calendar is going to fill up really quickly.
Now I don't have that much going on except going to sign for the mortgage. That's another thing. Learning all the things about buying a house in Spain has been, I have done 5% of the work,
but still you learn. So
I'm learning.
Maybe that could be a topic for another episode.
It's been a journey. It's still not over yet, but
should we start to round off?
Because I'm losing daylight. I didn't think that was going to happen.
This is going to be so awful, but I'm going to take this here. You're getting a drink of water and I'm going to see the before and after. Okay, look at how shiny my forehead is now. And then...
Did you turn off the air?
Yes. Oh my God, look, it's better. Okay, my forehead is red now, but this is so much better. The next episodes, I'm just going to have a towel and dude, it actually looks a lot better. Huh. Either that or
what, the sweat?
Yeah, the sweat. Because I have a bigger softbox for my light that creates less
heat.
That's less shiny. No, it doesn't create any heat, but it's like how diffused the light is. The smaller the softbox or no softbox, the harsher shadows and bright spots. But the bigger, then it softens everything. And it's a practical size, but I don't like the shiny part. Oh, well, no one cares. Let's move on.
The day someone comments and says, Tony, I wish your shiny forehead.
Then I'm going to do the opposite. Then we can change it. No, if someone comments that, I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to take off the
Just film your forehead.
I'm going to be a raccoon here.
Like me? I don't have a softbox. So, how are we going to round off these updates? What have you taken away from this episode?
My main takeaway is I'm really fortunate to have the life that I have here, and I can't wait to keep spending time with my friends here.
It's like you're finding your place of belonging here. And I'm just trying to call the doctor. I'm just trying to get through a doctor's appointment.
Ooh, that reminds me. I've been putting off changing my internet provider. I don't know why, but I just keep moving it in my calendar. I know why, because I hate doing stuff like that. Even though it will be like my third time handling internet and phones. Like I know how to do it, but it's one of those like
Stressful.
You know.
You're getting rid of
Vodafone.
Vodafone,
Yeah.
yeah.
Vodafone out, and I don't know. I think I'm gonna go for lo-fi, even though I think Vodafone actually owns lo-fi. I'm like, man, just give me something cheaper at least.
For internet or for your phone or both?
Well, both. But here's the thing: I need to ask them about this as well, and it's so stupid. I keep postponing it all the time, but yeah, fiber, and I want to check if they can transfer my number from one provider to another. I don't know if that's a thing here in Spain or not.
Think so, but I guess you never know.
I can just walk by. Like there's a lo-fi close by here and like, hey, can you do this? Yes or no?
With these kind of things, have you ever asked friends to help you? Or you just do it yourself?
I do it myself. The first time I got recommended a place to go, but I've always just done it myself. And then I'm like, hey, what documents do you need? And then what do you have?
That's
and then
good.
You just willy-nilly your way through the conversation.
I like to play the poor innocent woman.
I would play a poor innocent woman as well if I had the opportunity.
I'm like, I don't really know how a phone service provider works.
What is this even? I don't know the language.
Actually, I also want to talk about something we talked about when you were here. The mosquitoes. We don't have mosquitoes here in Madrid, but when I went to Barcelona, we stayed at a place by the beach or on the beach.
Yeah.
I got so many bug bites and like mosquito bites, and I'm so glad I live here because mosquitoes love me, and it's miserable. And you said you guys were talking about how you have mosquitoes there, right?
Yeah, there's mosquitoes here, and that's a topic for the camping as well. We had both spray, and then we had. Hold on, I'm gonna go get it now. Wait, 2 seconds. So this is a citrus smelling pulsera. The idea is that as long as you wear it, the mosquitoes will go away. And it worked surprisingly well at the camping. And it smells kind of nice as well. And guess where you can buy it?
Decathlon. Well, I was going to say Mercadona.
Mercadona.
You almost didn't bring up Mercadona.
I almost didn't, but I had to plug them at the end.
Wow, I didn't know they sold those there.
So yeah, next time you go to Barcelona, combine your spray with this. Look, it's even made in Spain.
But if you only use the pulsera, I wonder if it would actually keep them away. Did you test that?
I think so.
It seems like a load of BS, but
come on.
I think it's like a mental thing. You know, you're like, oh, this pulsera is saving me.
I think if you keep your hand here, like mosquitoes will go away. If you put your hand far away from your face, you're only helping your hand. Like you need to keep it somewhat close to your body.
Well, I just need 20 of them. I need them on every part of my body.
Like a sleeve, like a tattoo. So, Molly, how do we round off this episode?
I guess we're kind of saying the same thing in a different way, that like we're just learning how to be a functioning member of society here in Spain. Maybe more so me than you, but yeah.
No, both
just making progress.
Yeah, making progress, integrating, being part of society, and having, for lack of a better description, an authentic life here.
blending in a little bit. Although physically we don't, but
that's another topic. But yeah, do you want to plug anything? Like our social channels?
Yes, we are on YouTube. We post shorts, little clips of our episodes, but we also post the full episode every 2 weeks. And we are on Instagram. It's at spainISH Pod. And we're also on Spotify. We have some Spotify listeners. I don't know if it's you, Tony, but we have some listens. So thank you for listening on Spotify.
There's external listeners. It's not me, I promise. I'm not using a VPN and like, well, maybe. But that's okay. She's a real listener. Like, she's not me.
Like a bot. Yeah, so if you are following us, we appreciate it. And if you're not following us, why aren't you?
Really, look yourself in the mirror and ask, why am I not following them?
And you'll get the response back. And leave a comment. We don't care what it is. I love reading comments.
I'm going to ask specifically, does anyone have any experience in camping outside of their own country? If so, please let us know. As Molly said, whatever you want to comment, please do. But if anyone has camped anywhere or you have any opinions about camping, it's not an interesting topic, but we want to... No, I'm kidding. I'm just trying to find something specific. Like Molly said... Or
if you've been to the hospital, or if you've been to a Spanish wedding, or...
If you've been on rooftop parties, if you have family visiting, anything, just write something.
Thanks for being here, Tony, and everyone listening, or anyone listening.
Even you, bot. Thank you. You are welcome. We can sign off. We do adios on 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Adios.